The main thing that I got to know from that is that Djokovic uses caffeine shots. And coming back to
And medical yoga is something very unique in the sense that it combines the knowledge from the modern medical science of anatomy and physiology with the ancient wisdom of Hatha yoga and Ashtanga yoga.
things like this could become a lot easier because you're more flexible. As you said, your joints are more in sync with each other, probably.
You have to move across the court, make quick moves. So flexibility of muscles is important. For the
So
flexibility,
there is no overnight success.
no.
Today we have a very unique episode for you. Joining us on this episode is an esteemed guest whose expertise lies at the intersection of medicine and yoga. The incredible medical yoga expert, Rucha Deshpande. Rucha is an internationally accredited Government of India certified yoga teacher and evaluator who specializes as a medical yoga trainer with 1,000+ hours of teaching experience. She is also an internationally certified diet planning coach. But that's not all. She brings an impressive academic background as an ex-IITian, combining her passion for yoga with the precision of engineering. So let's get ready to embark on a transformative journey with Rucha as she guides us towards achieving peak performance in tennis and a healthier, more balanced life through the power of medical yoga. We are absolutely privileged to have you on the show, Rucha. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Bhushan and Adish, for having me on this show with you. I'm really excited to talk about medical yoga in the context of tennis today. Let me just introduce myself a little bit. You have already given a fantastic introduction. And yes, my background is from engineering, but I have left the technical sector a long time back. And I am more interested in working with people and for the people. So a few years back, I started working in the social development sector for about 3.5 years. And because of some personal reasons, I had to move out of India and I couldn't get similar opportunities there. So I started exploring my passions in Kathak dance, the Indian classical dance, and yoga. And one thing led to another, and on a self-explorative journey, I am here today, certified in medical yoga and helping people to achieve something which is beyond their expectations.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, all right. So about medical yoga, so I'm pretty sure, like me, there are a lot of people who are probably listening to this term for the first time. So could you just tell us what exactly, medical yoga is,
Right, right.
or how similar or different it is from what people usually associate with yoga?
Right, right. So a lot of people generally know of yoga as something to do with stretching and breathing.
yeah.
But that's a very basic and I would say a shallow way of understanding yoga. Yoga is much beyond, and medical yoga is something very unique in the sense that it combines the knowledge from the modern medical science of anatomy and physiology with the ancient wisdom of Hatha yoga and Ashtanga yoga, and brings forth a very unique solution to address the medical issues and fitness goals of people. So, and what I do is a personalized medical yoga private coaching online. So, I'll explain you the 4-step process that I use here. So, we usually start with a pre-consultation in which people describe their medical history in a lot of details. I take notes about it, and based on their inputs and what they are looking to achieve through this, I'll also get some blood tests done if required. If sometimes people are having certain symptoms or problems, so we may need to get some blood tests done. Based on these 2 steps, I'll design a personalized plan for them and conduct it through live online sessions and offline also if required. And along with that, I also give them yogic nutrition advice or lifestyle modifications and anything that yoga can offer to them in terms of lifestyle management, stress management, which can give them a holistic solution for their issues and a long-term, resolution of their problems. So that is what this 4-step approach is all about. And I'm planning to launch, a 3-point program in which there will be live sessions personalized with me, one-on-one. Along with that, there will be some on-demand, video series or a library of videos which I can provide to them for common protocols, and a bi-weekly webinar kind of where we can discuss, common issues like nutrition, stress management, or yogic lifestyle in general.
Wow.
So this is a kind of program.
That's a lot of work you are getting into.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me try to establish some context here in terms of tennis, right? So I would love to know how medical yoga can be useful to tennis players.
Right, right. So, in the context of tennis, what people usually know is that yoga can help with flexibility, but there's a lot more to it. So, the flexibility of muscles is, of course, important for the kind of movements, for to get a full range of your service action, to quickly change. You have to move across the court, make quick moves. So, flexibility of muscles is important. The mobility of your joints is equally important, which is not focused by a lot of people. So the whole range of motion of joints needs to be explored. This is again at the physical level. Then the balance, focus, clarity of mind to deal with the anxiety before the match or for the injury prevention, post-match recovery. All these are things which yoga can help with. And then, of course, if you follow the principles of yoga in your life, the overall well being that you achieve will help you to enhance your performance even further.
Okay, okay. Just one question. So a lot of tennis players have a back problem because of serve, because of the movement that you have to go in serving. So do you think something like this, not just for this particular point, but if you are a regular practitioner, things like this could become a lot easier because you're more flexible. As you said, your joints are more in sync with each other, probably.
Right, right. Yes, definitely. So there are specific joints or specific muscles which you use more. Like when you are serving, then the back bend is more intense. You can start getting pain at certain points in the back. When you are, quickly moving places, then you are using your hamstrings and quadriceps. You are using your hip joint. You are flexing a lot. So if just, the warm up and the cool downs for 5 minutes before and after the match is not really enough.
Correct.
You need to have a regular yoga routine into your exercise schedule itself, which will help you to increase the flexibility. And let me explain you, it's very interesting how this happens. So hatha yoga uses a thing called as static stretching. Most of you might be doing, tennis players might be doing dynamic stretches, quick stretches. Static stretching involves getting into a posture or asana and staying there for about 40 seconds minimum to 1.5 to 2 minutes. And if you do this on a regular basis for say 30 minutes every day for a period of at least 4 to 5 days in a week, then it will trigger the neurons in the brain, it will fire up the neurons, and it will give a signal to the muscle that yes, now the muscle needs to be lengthened. So that will in turn physically increase the length of the muscle or the strength of the muscle. So this will happen only if you do this for a period of time, not by just quick stretches of 5 minutes. So this regular practice is important for the
So
flexibility.
there is no overnight success.
No.
So just for our viewers, can you elaborate a little bit or at least classify what is static stretching and what is dynamic stretching?
Right. So dynamic stretching is when you are, moving quickly, or you are doing just, stretching your different joints, maybe hamstrings. You are just doing forward and backward bending quickly to stretch the hamstrings. You are doing some shoulder stretches. So these are dynamic stretches in which you are continuously moving. A static stretch is when you are getting into a posture with a conscious movement and conscious breathing, which is the, the cornerstone of any yogasana. You have to get into it in a very conscious way. You have to keep observing your muscles and you have to hold that posture for at least 40 seconds, as I said, or for 1.5 to 2 minutes ideally. And then the brain signal changes, the neural network in the brain changes, and it makes changes into the muscles. So that is how this works. So this is the practice of hatha yoga. Of static stretching.
So on that note, so I have personally watched a lot of matches and hence the preparation of different players for those matches.
Right.
So even including the top 10 players. So I see a significant difference. So now I can recall, I see a significant difference in the way they prepare for their match. So the top 10 players or maybe top 50 players as against maybe a few players who look a little unprepared. Maybe it's stretching, maybe it's in the mind, maybe they're not too ready. So in terms of preparation for the match, how would you really ask players to follow or certain steps?
Right, right. So the preparation for the match, your body, breath and mind, everything has to be in sync. Plus, sometimes there is anxiety. There can be anxiety before a match if it's a big match.
Yeah.
So, to take care of the anxiety is also very important. So there are two things that you can do for this specific point. One is deep breathing exercises. Like there are yogic relaxation techniques or deep breathing techniques which you can do for maybe 5 to 10 minutes before a match. You can sit in one place, you can focus, close your eyes, breathe deeply in certain ways, like there are abdominal breathing, thoracic breathing, yogic deep breathing. There are multiple techniques. You can use any of the techniques to just calm your mind and to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which will relax your body and take care of the anxiety. That is one way. Another way which you can do if this does not help is to get into a flow of yogasana, like for example Surya Namaskar. If you do Surya Namaskar, it is a flow of 24 asanas in one set of Surya Namaskar, which involves alternate forward and backward bending and alternate breathe in and breathe out. So this movement of breathe in and breathe out deeply, that relaxes your entire body, your muscles, your mind, and even energizes your system. So relaxation and energization both are happening at the same time when you are doing a yoga sequence. That's something unique. Usually when you do a general exercise sequence for 30 minutes, you feel tired at the end of it. When you do a similar sequence with yoga and proper breathing and conscious movement, you are more energized at the end. So the anxiety will be reduced and the energy will be high for the match. And there are certain warm-up sequences called yogic sukshma vyayam and sthula vyayam. So these are focusing on all joints of the body and moving them in the entire range of motion. So they will help you to mobilize your joints, improve your flexibility before the match, and also get rid of the anxiety. So these are a few techniques you can use for your pre-match preparation.
So, asking specifically about medical yoga and tennis, is there some example which you want to give about how medical yoga helped a particular tennis player? Any instance of that?
Right. So let me give you an example. So see, for example, if a person comes to me and says that he is a recreational tennis player, he is of maybe 40 to 50 age range, and he's suffering from small issues like he's having back pain or he's having soreness in his muscles after playing the match, is not getting a good recovery, and there is a lot of tiredness. He doesn't get the enthusiasm to play for the next day once he plays for 2 hours on a single day. So there might be some issues like these. So if he comes to me, then I'll take, of course, the entire medical history, all his background from the last maybe 5 to 10 years of all the issues that he has faced, and based on that I'll see whether there are any blood reports that need to be done, because the deficiencies in B12, D3, iron, and certain lack of nutrients, or you can say nutrition gaps in the diet, can cause these issues, and holistically we can deal with them. So not just doing yoga, that itself is not going to help. You need to change a lot of things. So based on that, then we can, based on the blood reports, we can analyze, and I'll create a plan for him which will have a balanced diet. I will also check what he is currently eating, what his schedule is, whether that is enough for him to sustain the kind of play that he is sustaining, make some modifications in the diet, add some nutritional supplements if required, get him to change a certain lifestyle things like maybe his sleep routine, maybe his morning routines are not in place. So that all can be changed through yoga, and of course the mental resilience that you need for a match, the anxiety that I said. So all those things can be done through the yoga practice on the mat, and there are a lot of things off the mat that you can do to improve your body and mind.
So, typically, what you are saying is whatever comes off the mat is kind of the medical part of the medical yoga.
No, that is part of the traditional yoga itself, which people are not aware of. The part of Ashtanga Yoga, which is like the 8 limbs of yoga, and the Hatha Yoga part, which involves balancing the masculine and the feminine energy of your body for the good functioning of all the organ systems of the body. That comes from the traditional part. The medical part of it is understanding the anatomy and physiology of your body and the requirements of your specific body as per the modern science, and then designing a yoga sequence as per the ancient wisdom. That is what medical yoga is about. So for example, again I'll give you an example. So if a tennis player goes to a typical yoga class, then they'll tell him you join a general class and they'll do a general sequence for him, but they'll not address specific points. A lot of people go with back pain to a yoga class and their back pain gets aggravated, and then they blame yoga for it. So yoga is not to be blamed. The lack of knowledge of anatomy and physiology of the teacher might be to be blamed. So a lot of times a yoga trainer may not be trained in these things. So that knowledge is essential for me to design the sequence, the right sequence of yoga exercises and physiotherapy exercises for the person to recover from that pain and then help him to strengthen his muscles. So that is how medical yoga will help you with the knowledge of modern medicine.
That's a very interesting point because
I think so. When it comes to post-match recovery, or not just post-match recovery, because the tennis players are on the tour for, they're continuously on the tour, and
30,
they
40
probably,
weeks.
probably get only a 2-3 days break in between two big tournaments. So I think this is where something like this really comes into the picture.
And I also feel that we have heard a lot of stories where people blame yoga for their injury.
Correct.
And somebody says that I went to this center, I was doing this, hence my injury aggravated.
Correct,
So that's a
correct.
very valid point that you
So
make.
instead of helping me, something it aggravated the injury.
Right, right. So the right knowledge of anatomy and physiology combined with the knowledge of yoga is essential to design the right sequence for the person. And as you mentioned, post-match recovery. So if there is a 2-3 day gap, then you can do immediately after the match. One thing that the players can do is practice shavasana, which is corpse pose, lying on the floor, and doing a conscious relaxation of muscles. It's like a guided meditation, or you can guide yourself to consciously relax your muscles through deep breathing techniques, and that actually activates your parasympathetic nervous system and starts the recovery process in the body.
So, and another interesting point which people make is having an unfair advantage by just sleeping properly. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay, so yes, that's a very good point. So as per Ayurveda, we are asked to start sleeping by 10 p.m. That is because 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the pitta time when the body's fire is at a high to start the repair and rejuvenation work for the damage that has been happening throughout the day. So to sleep at 10 p.m. is very essential. If you start sleeping a little later than that, maybe say 11 or 12, then the stress hormones start releasing in the body and they hamper the repair work. So to sleep between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is of utmost importance, especially for the tennis players who are trying to recover for the body, and the professional players who want to really use the next day to the best level. So this is very important. And 6 to 8 hours of sleep, as everybody knows, that's very important.
Yeah, there are some coaches who expect players to have a proper sleep routine, without which I have heard some stories where some coaches in team sports at least, they ask their entire team to have a proper sleep routine. Otherwise, they reject certain players to train. Right. To that level, they are having professional expectations.
Right, right. So there are yogic routines also, like morning routines, afternoon routines. There are sleep routines also in yoga, where you can spend about 5 to 15 minutes doing certain stretches, which relax your body, which invigorate your parasympathetic nervous system, release all your stress. You can do certain pranayam like Nadi Shodhan or Brahmari, which will relax your mind. And you can do meditative practices, or you can just do auto suggestion and focus for your focus and clarity of the next day, what you want to do and achieve. So you can take a 5 to 15 minute time to just calm your mind down and get ready to sleep. That will definitely enhance your sleep quality as well.
So we really see a lot of interest in nutrition these days, but I personally find that it is more of noise and less of signal. I think I would love to hear something around nutrition from you.
Right, right. So nutrition is again a very important but a lot ignored aspect, as you said, especially for sports players. So as much as exercise and yoga is important, nutrition plays an even bigger role, because having a balanced diet is the most important thing. Food is what is serving your body, it's creating your body. So having the right food and the right balance of nutrients is important. So the first thing that players can do is get their diet analyzed to make sure that they are getting the right proportion of macro and micronutrients. If something is missing, then they need to fill those nutritional gaps. And expert advice should be, of course, taken for this. And blood reports can help to identify if there are any nutritional deficiencies or any medical issues underlying which they are not aware of right now, but which can hamper their game and their performance in the future. So these two things are the basic that they need to do, and based on that, a guidance about food and supplements needs to be taken. Here, I would also like to mention a few useful supplements which professional players as well as recreational players can use. So the first and foremost, everybody knows about it, is proteins. After getting your diet analyzed, if it has enough protein or not, you need to supplement with protein for the best muscle recovery and the post-match recovery that you need. The second one is a good combination of multivitamins and multiminerals, because you don't really get all of those daily in your diet, and you need all of those. Even if they are in micro quantities like boron and silicon, you do need them for good functioning of your body. So a good quality multivitamin, multimineral. Third one is omega-3s, very essential for acute inflammation as well as chronic inflammation which is happening in your body. So it can help you with your pain and injury, joint lubrications, as well as to overcome any diseases like maybe sugar related or cholesterol related things in future which may happen because of poor diet. Those can also be taken care of by omega-3. So these three are the foundational supplements: protein, multivitamin, multimineral and omega-3. Apart from that, the blood tests will help you to analyze whether you need iron, B complex or vitamin D3, which I see right now almost 100% of the people are deficient in, who are coming to me, including myself and all my family members. Everybody has been deficient in these two especially. So these need to be supplemented in today's date. Some other interesting supplements are, glucosamine, which is very useful for joint health, especially if you are, playing on hard courts and your joints tend to get, a lot of damage. The cartilage gets damaged a lot. There is wear and tear, and naturally after a certain age, for recreational players, the cartilage is not going to rebuild itself. The body doesn't have the capacity. But this very wonder supplement called glucosamine, with a correct combination, can help you to rebuild that cartilage and protect your knees, your back, your entire spine. So this is one wonder supplement. And some other supplements for performance enhancement can be like, caffeine shots. I think Djokovic also takes those before match. So caffeine, catechin, all these help to improve your metabolism and also aid in fat loss. So if that is an issue for somebody, that can be done. So this is just a basic guideline of supplements. Of course, just knowing the supplements is not enough. You need to choose the right supplements. So make sure they are, organic, certified organic. The company which is manufacturing them is having GAP and GMP certifications, which is good agricultural practices, good manufacturing practices. All this is important. And again, the contents of your protein, contents of your multiminerals are important. Whether they have any additives or preservatives, better to avoid all of these things. So choosing the right supplements is important. So I guess guidance from a medical yoga expert and a nutritionist is of utmost importance if you really want to enhance your game, and mainly for the professional players.
Yeah, so a lot of new knowledge.
Yeah, but yeah, so the main thing that I got to know from that is that Djokovic uses caffeine shots. And coming back to tennis, basically, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know that Djokovic does practice yoga.
Yeah.
And of course, we can say that with a lot of confidence that it has definitely helped him achieve great success. So what I mean is, do you think eventually, yoga will be a daily part of most of the athletes? Because right now we do hear some of them using it. We hear the likes of Djokovic. We have also heard that Giggs uses
footballer,
footballer
Ryan
Giggs.
Giggs.
Yeah. He's a yoga practitioner. So do you think eventually for longevity, this will become a daily part of most of the athletes?
I think definitely yoga is going to become a part of the life of all athletes, because as they see the famous players imbibing the knowledge and getting phenomenal changes in their performance, they will realize that yoga is not just about the body, it's much, much more than that. It's just the tip of the iceberg. The body, breath, mind connection that yoga gives you, and the yogic lifestyle, which is beyond the mat. The well-being that it can give you will definitely enhance the game of players, whether they are professionals or recreational players. And I'm sure everybody in the coming few years, with the gaining popularity of yoga, they will definitely take it up for their game.
Right. So I think just final word, let's say I have to start today, what would you advise me?
So if you are a professional player or even a recreational player, I would suggest you get a proper, analysis done by a medical yoga expert as to what are your needs, because unless you identify your needs, you cannot provide a solution. So what are your dietary needs? What are your nutritional gaps? Whether you have any deficiencies based on your blood reports. So get them analyzed. Give your complete medical history to your practitioner so that they can know even the small symptoms and issues that you face while playing the game, and even when you are not playing. So all of this will help us to analyze and create a personalized plan for you. And based on that, then you can include, the stretching, which I mentioned, the static stretching exercises. Even if you are a busy player, even a 7 to 10 minute sequence can be designed for you using Sukshma Vyayam, Sthula Vyayam, Surya Namaskar, some Vinyasa yoga flows. All these can be done, and take at least 30 minutes of your time out in the morning before you begin your day to do this. So 10 to 15 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of breathing, meditation, and just focusing on the goals for your day when it comes to tennis. So this short 30-minute practice can help you to transform your life as well as your tennis performance.
Wow, that was an enlightenment personally
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
And although she said all the things are basic for her, I don't think they're basic for us.
Yeah, and there is a lot of new knowledge that
Yeah.
has come to light. So yeah, let's see.
How much we can implement, and we'll definitely need her help
Yes.
in modifying our lifestyles as well. So thanks so much, Rucha.
Yes, thank you
It was
so
a
much.
pleasure.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Bhushan and Adish, for having me here and allowing me to speak on this topic, which is not very commonly known.
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Thank you for addressing our curiosity.
So that wraps up another interesting episode of the Tennis Bytes. Today we explored a rather different aspect where we tried to cover medical yoga, which could be very useful for tennis or overall to improve the holistic lives of people around. And tennis is not exactly a physical game. There are a lot of things that go into it, even from the mental perspective, because as we all know, tennis is a very lonely sport. So of course the mental strength also comes into the picture when it comes to tennis. So I'm sure that something like medical yoga could be really helpful to tennis players, and today we tried to do something different on Tennis Bytes, where we tried to understand how something like medical yoga will help tennis players. So thank you so much. If you like this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.